So if I didn't talk about this, it was going to irk my nerve. Welcome, Wrestling World, to Wrestle One. I am August C. Jones, and so on this video, I'm going to be talking about the whole Pat McAfee situation. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I try to go, 10 minutes or so or less, but hey, it may go longer. It's a lot to get into. So just right off the bat, I didn't speak a lot on the whole Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes thing, but just real quick, I didn't hate the fact, or completely hate the fact, that they took the belt off of Drew and everything else in the manner that they did. I'm happy that they did put the belt on him, and of course I didn't 100% like that they took it off of him, put it back on Cody, and just kind of did away with the whole fatal four-way or triple threat with McIntyre, Fatu, Orton, and Cody, for WrestleMania. But when you put Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes in the main event, finally facing each other for the championship, something that they have been alluding to for as long as Cody has been champion or whatnot, and something that people been wanting to see ever since he came back to the company because of their rich history with legacy and everything else. This was like a match that was tailor-made, not even say tailor-made, but hand-given. It was already in the cards. This is a given. This is something that they didn't have to build together and build up. This is something that was already built. They just had to execute it. And so that's why I didn't mind it, because this is a match that I myself and a lot of people have been wanting to see. And when it comes to it, I think that they did it good. Either Cody or Randy was going to turn babyface. They turn heel. They turned Cody. They kept Cody babyface. I'm tweaking. They turned Randy Orton heel in the way that they did it. And so, to add to that, for some reason, they decided to throw Pat McAfee in the mix. Don't understand it. You had a tailor-made, a hand-given storyline. It made sense for why Randy did what he did. He came out, said the same stuff that honestly what Cena should have said last year, as far as the reason why he turned heel and why he did what he did, just simply because he knew he had to become something else in order to get number whatever championship. Last year with Cena for 17, this year is for Randy Orton. So that honestly is a simple explanation as to why they do what they do. They didn't need The Rock. They don't need Pat McAfee. It was already there. It was written in the stars. All they had to do was just take it and run with it and just, execute it perfectly. And that's what it seemed like it was. Until we got that phone call, which a lot of us were speculating who it was going to be, because he said the line that wrestling has more than one royal family. So a lot of us, including myself, were thinking I hope he wasn't talking about The Rock. But that was the first person that I think came to a lot of people's minds, Ted DiBiase Jr., even though I know at that time he was going through his case, and now he's free. He's been the verdict was not guilty or whatever, but I don't think he's in wrestling shape. I don't think anybody cared to want him in there. But a lot of people was talking about Ric Flair, because he was part of Evolution with Randy Orton, or just somebody. I know certain people was talking about KO and stuff, which it didn't make sense. It made sense for what KO and Cody went through before KO got injured and everything else, but at the same time, with him making that statement, it didn't make any sense. And so when it turned out to be Pat McAfee, it was very underwhelming. Very, very underwhelming. Just for the simple fact that Randy Orton making that statement about the royal family in wrestling made no sense when you bring Pat McAfee into the picture. And I will say this about Pat McAfee. He can get in there, confidently cut a promo. He can make it sound good. The contents in what he said in the promo may not agree with it. He's talking about bringing the old, and guys, this is what I kind of got from it, bringing the old feeling back of the Attitude Era, making people want to see what's happening on wrestling, getting excited what's happening with WWE, wanting to tune in every single week. And honestly, he's not wrong. It's a lot of people that complain. I don't watch the shows week to week. I keep up with the storylines. I watch the clips here and there. talk about the storylines and, you know, stuff that happened in there. But from what I hear on just a daily basis, like just the IWC, the shows haven't been great, especially SmackDown. 3 hours is not doing it any favors. And so he's not wrong when he's talking about the product sucking, which I'm not understanding in the fact of why would you have a representative of your company come out before the people and say that our product sucks. And even though you try to blame it on Cody and everything else, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, why would you do that? Why would you gaslight it and not really have a good reason as to change it? Now, unless things were changing after that, then okay, cool. But you're not doing anything major. And so it kind of like opens up the conversation for a lot of hypocrisy and a lot of like just negative like opinions or just thoughts and talk about the product, because it makes no sense. He's talking about the Attitude Era, in an era that Randy Orton was still in high school, wasn't even a part of. So it's like, why mention that? But I kind of maybe get it. So I'll give him a pass that he's talking about the feeling of the Attitude Era. But to talk about how like their tickets still like need to be sold for WrestleMania and Randy Orton is here. I never understood what he meant by that. It's like, if you're trying to boost up Randy Orton, but yet you're saying that tickets still need to be sold when Randy Orton is around, why aren't tickets being sold? If Randy Orton is as prestige and as big as you like try to present him in that promo last week, why aren't you selling tickets? If that's the reason, if that's the case. And it's like he's contradicting himself. He's saying one thing and immediately saying another thing that contradicts the first thing. It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. And later on, we hear that it wasn't a Triple H call. This was a Ariel Emanuel call. This was a TKO call to bring him in there because Ari Emanuel is the agent for Pat McAfee. And from what we understand was that this was planned. This wasn't just anything that just came up like that same week or a week before this happened. This was something that was planned when he had that interview maybe like a month or two ago, where he's talking about how he didn't know if he was going to come back to WWE, or, you know, when he was going to, or if he was ever going to come back. This was planned even around that time to give a false sense of security, or, for lack of better words, to throw people off, so that they wouldn't guess Pat McAfee, which I don't even think anybody would have guessed Pat McAfee. And going along with that, and I know I'm jumping all around, but going along with that, just because your surprise is something that no one would have thought of, doesn't mean that it's a good surprise. Doesn't mean that it's a good twist to the story. It just doesn't. It just means that you poured the wool over people's eyes. Yeah, you tricked us, but you gave us shit. It's saying that like, oh yeah, you hyped it up like, oh yeah, man, we about to go out to dinner. We're going to have like this good food. It's going to be okay, cool. And then you take somebody to McDonald's. You hyped this up like we about to go downtown Chicago, go to an expensive restaurant, have a gourmet meal and everything else, and have this gourmet experience, and you take us around the corner to McDonald's. You know, it doesn't make sense. And like, you know, and so that's why I just didn't understand it. And so we hear that Ari Emanuel wanted to make Pat McAfee the next Sylvester Stallone, which out of anybody in Hollywood, out of every actor in Hollywood, you pick Sylvester Stallone. Now, that's not a cut at Sylvester. He is a good actor. He is like a really good actor. But to compare him to Sylvester Stallone, why wouldn't you compare him to another big, great actor, someone who is better than a Sylvester Stallone? It makes no sense. The only way it makes sense is that I believe that like in the third season, the upcoming season of Tulsa King, Pat McAfee has a role in there. So it was kind of something to, you know, kind of give like praise to Sylvester because he is in that show. You know, so I get like why he said that, even though just saying that, just, it's like, out of everybody you pick, but in any case, so him coming out and being the mystery person on the phone talking to Randy, trying to get Randy hyped up. It kind of throws away and kind of contradicts the whole thing of people talking about how Randy is so diabolical and this version of Randy is like, why do you need Pat McAfee? You already did this on your own. Like, you said that you listened to the voices. You telling me out of all the voices that were around you, Pat McAfee stood out? It's weird. It's just, this whole angle makes no sense. It's like TKO, I ain't gonna say WWE, but TKO is tone deaf. This is them dipping their paws into everything. They're already doing sponsors all over the place, putting everything all around the ring. Like, it's gonna, sooner or later, you're gonna see sponsors on like the women's gear and everybody in their trunks and all that stuff, the men's trunks and all that. You're gonna have them, shit, it's gonna be to a point where they're gonna tattoo the sponsors on them. Like, it's gonna be crazy. You're gonna see sponsors on the merch of wrestlers. Like, it just, they already got their hands in making this look crazier than what it is. You got sponsors all over there on ladders, tables, and all that stuff. You're gonna see some on chairs. But to insert inside of the storyline, a storyline that need no help, that was great all the way, like it already was, you decided to put your hands in the cookie jar where it didn't belong, not washing your hands, taking a piss, scratching your nuts while doing it, and then leaving the bathroom, not washing it, and putting your hands in the cookie jar. Now you done made everything fucking disgusting. Then on top of that, it has you thinking. We did blame The Rock. The Rock has a lot to be blamed for. Yeah, what he did last year with Cena, that was whatever. That was after Ari Emanuel called The Rock and told him that, yo, we need to push seats. We need to get these seats sold. Elimination Chamber is not doing well. We need you. So come on, help us out, Rock. The Rock only interjected himself was because he was asked to. Now we fast forward a year later, going into WrestleMania. Ironically, damn near the same kind of like storyline with Cody Rhodes going into Mania, just with a different person in different circumstances, but a lot of it is kind of the same. It mirrors each other. Ari Emanuel calls another person to interject into a Cody Rhodes storyline. It makes no sense, and I would be mad. I would be mad if I was Cody. It seems like every time I look up, people are interjecting themselves. They can't just let the WrestleMania be for me. The Rock comes in, tries to steal a main event from him. Ultimately ended up changing and being what it should have been. Or, you know, ended up being like Cody Rhodes finishing his story. Thankfully, it ended up good. But then you have The Rock coming out and fucking up the whole thing for him and John Cena. And that just ended horribly. More so for John Cena. And then now this. I honestly feel that Cody Rhodes cannot feel satisfied or happy that all this stuff is happening to him around WrestleMania every single fucking year. I know he cannot be happy. So we looked at The Rock last year and the year before, whatever, but when we look at it, Ari Emanuel is the one to blame. TKO is the one to blame. To bring a person into the main event, night one main event, who should not be there, who has no reason to be there, and really made something that was so simple and great more complicated and stupid. You know, and it shows how tone deaf business is. Like, when business starts to dip their hands in creative, that's when you start to get a mess. That's why you have people in businesses on the business side and you have people that are in business on the creative side. You keep them separate. The business is going to look out for the business. Creative is going to worry about creative. They might intertwine every now and then, but like, when you have people that don't know creative, that don't know this, they just want this because they have their own self-interest or whatever, that's when stuff starts to get messed up. That's when it started to get crazy. And so, getting into it, one of the things that I can say is kind of fucked up about it is that now there's more interest into Pat McAfee and CM Punk cutting promos on each other. I'm going to talk about it in another video because this video will be too long about the pipe bomb. Make another video about that. So I'm not going to talk too much about it. But honestly, where they messed up is they did the same thing with The Rock interjecting himself in the when Cody Rhodes was trying to finish his story. Where they messed up at is that it got to a point where we didn't want to see Roman versus Cody anymore. We wanted to see The Rock versus Cody because that's where the conflict, that's where the headbutting happened between both of them. It was between them and not the people who were actually going to headline night 2 of WrestleMania that year. Now, this year, it's kind of the same thing. But you have two separate main events that have nothing to do with each other. Now you're you're combining them in the sense of Pat McAfee being that bridge. Now, don't get me wrong, it has a lot of people talking about it. You're gonna have certain people checking out all these different, like, people are gonna get, content creators are gonna eat off of this. I already see people are getting more views and all that stuff based off of this, probably more subscribers. But at the same time, it doesn't bode well for them. And it's one of those things where I am looking forward to what CM Punk is going to say on tomorrow, as the day of me recording this. I'm looking forward to what he's going to say, because I know he's going to go off. But it shouldn't be that way. Pat McAfee interjected himself in here. CM Punk interjected himself in Cody Rhodes' business, just like he did last time when the whole thing happened with John Cena and he called them ball frauds and everything else. It's kind of like mirroring everything that happened last year. Like I said, it's really mirroring. I can't even talk. It's really mirroring everything that happened last year, but this time it's getting a little bit more with CM Punk calling out Pat McAfee, which I thought it was a mess up, but I had to rewind it a few times. I'm like, yeah, he really meant that. He said that. But now we're having more interest in something that's not what we're supposed to have interest in. We're supposed to care about Cody and Randy. On the other side, we're supposed to care about Roman and CM Punk. We're not supposed to care about Pat McAfee and CM Punk having a promo off. We're not supposed to care about that, because I don't know if they're gonna lead to us seeing like a face-to-face promo. Like, it's like that's not even what it's about. It's about the two separate main events in their own lane, and they're taking the steam away from these. Right now, people are talking about Pat McAfee and like CM Punk and all that stuff, and we're not talking about CM Punk and Roman. We're not talking about Cody and Randy. And it's like WrestleMania is less than a week away. I mean, I guess if you're looking at night 1, it's a week away, but I mean, it's less than a week because it's Saturday, the first night. So it's weird that we're not talking about these main events in a positive light going into WrestleMania, and it's right around the corner. This is what they did with The Rock and Cody, a match that we have yet to see. And I'm not talking about a tag match, multi-man match. I'm talking about a one-on-one match. They still have not did that, even though they advanced the story last year and it went nowhere. So that's something that, honestly, even though I have my qualms with The Rock, or as I would call him now, Dwayne the Brand Johnson, I want to see it. I still want to see the Brand versus Roman Reigns. This was all just a big fuck up. This was a tone deaf decision by businessmen who don't know creative, who probably don't watch the product. That's why you have all these celebrities in WrestleMania. Now, not all of them is bad, but that's why you have it. I can only imagine what SummerSlam gonna look like. I can only imagine what next year at WrestleMania is gonna look like, whether or not they have it in Saudi Arabia. But I'm pretty sure they're gonna try to have as many celebrities as they possibly can. This is something that should not be. They had something special and they just muddied it up for some strange reason. They just could not keep their hands to themselves and just let stuff be. WrestleMania itself already had a bad build. It was looking like something that people didn't want to see, and they even mentioned it. And I'm gonna get into this. This is why I'm not, I guess you could say, 100% against the whole Pat McAfee. I want to see where this go. I'm gonna see how it affects stuff, which I don't think it is. I don't have no faith into it. But I see the vision of what TKO is probably just trying to do. So, going into this, two things are going to be accomplished. Getting into the seating. They're not selling tickets. For some reason, they think Pat McAfee is going to help sell tickets. I don't know why. Pat McAfee isn't that big of a star. If you bring The Rock back, you're going to sell tickets. Pat McAfee, I don't know what the hell he's going to do. That's why they bring in John Cena back to host it. And that didn't even move that many people, that many seats or whatnot. But hey, get into it. Two things that they're trying to accomplish, whether it was intentional or just so happened to happen. The first thing, to cover up their pride, so that they won't succumb to their pride and what other people are saying, what CM Punk said in his pipe bomb, so that they can look like they know what they're doing, and to cover up their fuck up. Because I know they know that they fucked up. For one, having WrestleMania in the same place 2 years in a row, and secondly, overpricing people, pricing out the families and stuff that will want to come to WrestleMania, and stopping them from doing that. To have Pat McAfee come out like he did this past Friday and say that, like, oh, I called Ram Trucks to get like 25% and all this stuff, to take 25% off the tickets on night one. Night one. I'm pretty sure y'all still need to sell tickets on both nights. But night one, 25%? At this point, y'all just need to get the tickets out. Y'all need to cut this shit down to where it's like, if the front row or whatever seats was like a certain amount, like let's say $5, y'all need to cut this shit down to $2. Like, you know, it's just, and I'm just doing it for example, just, you know, whatever, for the sake of argument. That's what y'all need to do, instead of trying to make a storyline about Ram Trucks doing that. It's like, we know it's desperation. Y'all trying to get people into these seats, but y'all are too prideful to say that y'all fucked up, to say that y'all messed up with having this WrestleMania in the same venue 2 years in a row, as well as having overpriced tickets. That's what it is. See, my phone getting a little bit too hot. All right, so I'm gonna do it like this. My phone getting a little bit too hot. But so when it comes down to it, instead of just lowering the prices like y'all should, y'all sitting here in storyline having Pat McAfee come out like he's doing something. You know, it's just, it's so weird. And so that's one of the things. They're covering up their fuck up. They're covering up what their mistake was, and they just too prideful to admit it. The other thing that they're doing is that they're trying to, whether it's intentional, they're trying to get Cody Rhodes cheered, because they see that no matter what Randy Orton is doing, he's coming out to cheers. People yelling Randy. They didn't even want to see Randy be a heel. They don't care about that. They want to cheer him, just like John Cena last year. They didn't learn their lesson. Nobody wants to see Randy Orton be a heel. And then at a point in time where you're having Cody Rhodes, people kind of like slowly turn on Cody, where either they're just getting tired of him or they just want him to turn heel. They want to see Homelander Cody. At a time this is happening, they want to bring Pat McAfee in to essentially, you know, kind of help out with maybe like, oh yeah, we're going to give them the lesser of two evils. If they want to see Cody Rhodes fail, they don't want to cheer him, we're going to give them somebody to hate. That way they would be forced to cheer for Cody. And I can kind of see the vision. I can kind of see it. I don't know where they could have gone if they didn't insert Pat McAfee. I can see where they were going with this, and it's like I don't have a major problem with it. But in the end, it's like, what all is it going to do? Is it going to work out to this? And that's why I say I'm not 100% hating it. But in the same sense, is it going to work? Are they going to have a good match at WrestleMania? Is it going to be where people are going to cheer for Cody at WrestleMania? They're still going to cheer for Randy, but still boo Pat McAfee. And as if that goes, it seems like Pat McAfee is taking over Pat McAfee is taking over the whole thing. He left with the belt on Friday after they beat down Cody. He left with the belt. He was wearing the belt over it. Like Randy Orton wasn't. Pat McAfee was. A person that's not even in the match, the actual match, fighting. A person that's probably going to be in Randy Orton's corner, but he's not in the match itself. And it reeks of desperation. It reeks of tone deafness on TKO's part. And it's going to get to a point where people are going to rebel. They're not going to come to the shows anymore. Raw, SmackDown, whatever. And you're going to have trouble selling tickets all around, through and through. And like, so it's getting to the point where they said that they're going to lower the prices all summer. Y'all need to lower the prices from here on out. There's no end date. Just lower the prices. If you got to do more like the house shows, then do more house shows. You don't need to have like these prices being so high. There's only so many people that's going to pay for tickets. But then on top of that, even the people that's paying for, that's able like to have the money to pay for these tickets, they're only going to pay so much if the product isn't great. If the product is horrible, they're not going to pay for it. They can be multi-hundred-dollar millionaires, have money to just blow. They're not going to spend money on a WrestleMania. That's chump change to them. If they're not going to have a good time, if the storylines are weak, if the matches don't even look great, like they're not about to do that. It's going to be a point in time where that's going to happen, and it's starting to happen. I predict that they're going to get hit majorly financially this year. That's what's going to happen. And it's just, and I hope that it happens. I'm not hoping for the downfall or just trying to be negative with WWE. I'm saying that in the sense of sometimes you have to fail in order to learn what not to do. And I think WWE needs to learn that lesson. So I hope that what is it? Not next month. Yeah, next month in Backlash. I hope that they're having trouble selling tickets. Whatever the next PLE after that, I hope they have trouble selling tickets. I hope they have trouble selling tickets on Raw and SmackDown. I hope that it gets so bad that they're going to have to lower prices. Not do no whole storyline gimmick where, oh yeah, this sponsor coming in and taking care of 40%. Like, no, just lower the fucking prices. That's all you have to do. And make better product. But even just getting off of that, it's like, this whole thing is a mess. There's some matches, don't get me wrong, the WWE card doesn't look 100% horrible. It looked better than what it did before, but it still is a bad build, still a lot going wrong, and it just seemed like they can't do anything right. Hopefully both night 1 and night 2 are like good, and we get some good matches and stuff, but when it comes to it, it's like, I don't know what they're doing. I have no clue what they're doing. And hopefully after this, TKO learns how to leave it alone. And by them inserting Jelly Roll into this whole storyline as well, with the whole like having celebrities all over the place, and then, you know, it's been mentioned that they're looking forward to, or they're basically going to have a tag team match between Cody and Jelly Roll versus Randy Orton and Pat McAfee at Backlash. And the reason that we know that that's going to happen, because reports say that, but then on top of that, Pat McAfee made a comment saying that, like, if, you know, if Randy doesn't win, I'm going to leave the wrestling business altogether. You won't ever see me again. But if they're planning to have that match at Backlash, that's telling me that Randy Orton is going to win the WWE Championship, which they kind of just gave away the night 1 result. Now, if they do something different, then it's like whatever. But it's like I don't know what WWE is doing. I don't know what they're thinking. I'm pretty sure that Triple H cannot be happy about this. No one is really happy about this. I don't know what they're doing. I don't think they know what they're doing. They're just so desperate to do so much to bring this celebrity and that celebrity in, to have this type of angle, that type of angle. And it's like, there's a lot of times the simplest solution is the best. They had a simple solution and they just muddied it up. They just fucked it up. Bad. We got people talking about it. They got people like me talking about it. People that's more animated, like a JD from New York, that's talking about it. But in the same sense, it's not giving them the results that they want. I doubt if they sold too many seats after even just the lower kind of like 20% off of night one. I'm pretty sure that they're not going to be sold out by next weekend. I'll be surprised if they was. But it's still not looking good if they're like still not selling out, you know, and they finally do close to the event. It's so weird, man. I don't know. Like I see the vision of where they're going, and we're gonna see how it's gonna be handled. But I don't think it's going to end in the way that I think that they want it to end. And I feel like Cody Rhodes has got to be like angry and livid by them just inserting themselves in this pay-per-view, in this like match, in this main event every single year. He cannot get a break. It's like, I don't know what they are to do. But yeah, I mean, I think that's all I have to say. I don't know. I probably missed some stuff. I'm going straight off the top of the dome. But if anything else is missed, I'm going to talk about it in the CM Punk pipe bomb video, and talk about that and everything else. But yeah, that's all I got to say. If you like what you heard, go ahead, give me a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment and share. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.